¿Qué lo que mi gente? Yo soy Ricky de Bilingüe Blogs. Thanks for coming back if you're a subscriber. If not, go ahead and subscribe. Today we're going to talk about three letters that really have nothing in common, so that's why I put them together. These are las letras Q, ñ, and S. I know I said before I'm not going to talk about la S, but after some consideration, I decided to include it in our pronunciation series. Okay, before we begin that, I would like to clarify that in the video where I talked about las letras J, ella, and Y, I forgot to mention the sound of Y, so let's cover that really quick. La Y, if it is by itself, because when it's by itself it means and, or if it's at the end of a word, then it will have the E sound, okay? Similar to la letra I, okay? So for example, la palabra hoy, you hear the E at the end of hoy, or caray, caray, it's gonna have that E sound, all right? So I just wanted to clear that up really quick. Now let's get into our actual lesson for today. So, la letra Q follows the same rules as far as spelling goes as the Q in English. So what I mean is that it always has a U behind it. The only difference here is that in English it is pronounced Q, like a KW sound. In Spanish, it's still spelled QU, but it sounds only like a K. For example, we have the word quit in English. In Spanish, we have the word quitar, quitar. Okay, so it is never going to sound like quitar or quitar. No. Quitar, that's how it's pronounced. That's always going to be the Q sound, okay? Let's look at it inside of an actual word, like the word mosquito, mosquito. That's a word of Latin origin. So you've been saying it your whole life, you know how to do the QU sound. Follow that rule for all words with Q in them, okay? Because Q will never be without a U. So now let's move to the next letter, la ñ. Ñ may be weird for English speakers, but I'm pretty sure all of you know who the famous rapper Kanye West is, and you have the ñ sound in his name. All it is combining the N and Y together. So for example, ñoñas. That is la letra ñ. Okay, moving on to la letra S. This letter, I was not going to discuss it, but it has so many differences that I just have to. I don't know what I was thinking not discussing it. So, la S has two sounds, let's say two sounds, okay? And then one not sound. Or let's say 2.5 sounds. How about that? Okay, so the first sound of the S is like the English S. When you're speaking in a neutral accent, you will pronounce all of your S's. If a word starts with S, then you will pronounce that S. If there is a vowel in S and then another vowel, you will pronounce that S, okay? And I have to make sure to make that clear because otherwise you'll get confused later down the line. So those are all of the times that the S will make the S sound, okay? Another sound that the S can make will be the Colombian S sound. This is found in some regions in Colombia where it's just an SH. So instead of saying así, I will say ashi. That's how you would sound in a certain Colombian accent, saying your S's. That's just another variation. What I really wanted to bring to you guys' attention is that the S can disappear. As I mentioned in the video with las letras D y T, the S is also one of those letters that disappears. Let me give you some rules for the disappearing S. If the S has a vowel in front of it and a consonant behind it, then it most likely can disappear. Sometimes, even if it is in between two vowels, it can disappear, but most of the times, that's not really the case. If the S is at the end of a word, it can disappear. It can disappear. And depending on where you are, it will disappear. Now, what do I mean with the disappearing S here? I'll show you two sounds that the S can make. It can make the H sound. I don't really consider it an H, it's more like just a breath. You just breathe there instead of saying the S. And then there is a no trace sound, which is silent. So let's take a look at the word nosotros. If I'm saying it in the neutral accent, it will just be nosotros. Or in Colombia, some places, nosotros. Or in other parts of Colombia, nosotros. Nosotros. Do you understand? So the first S is like a breath. The last one, you can't even tell it exists. The only time that you will be able to tell that an S exists at the end of something sometimes is that when you're connecting that word with another word, then you'll breathe that S out too. So if I say nosotros estamos, that may sound like nosotros estamos. So you can hear like the breath when I say nosotros estamos. Okay, so that signifies that there is an S there. And that's usually in Latin America and sometimes in the Caribbean as well, but usually in the Caribbean it would just disappear completely. So let's take a look at another word. We can say espérate, espérate. But espérate can easily become espérate, espérate. But how I learned to speak, it can just be espérate, espérate. I know it's a little weird, but that's just how it works in Spanish. You can chop things up, especially in my dialect. Other Spanishes, some things just disappear because you're speaking at a fast pace. So I believe it makes it more comfortable to speak at that fast pace without getting tongue-tied, making everything into a tongue twister, which tongue twisters are fun. Check out the video if you want to do some tongue twisters. Learning when you can and can't make the essay disappear is just something that you have to study, you know, have to learn as you go through your Spanish learning journey. I can't give you every instance for when it disappears and when it doesn't, okay? All right, so you guys already know the drill. It's time to do some practice. How would you say this word? If you said sagrado, sagrado, or if you remember from our other lessons, you can pronounce this sagrado, sagrado. You'd be correct. How about this next word? If you said peña, peña, then you're correct. How about another word? If you said conquistar, conquistar, or, in my accent, conquitar, conquitar, you're correct. How about this next word? If you said estamos, estamos, or in my Dominican accent, you can even say tamo, then you're correct. All right, so that's all that I have for you guys today. Hopefully you enjoyed that video. If so, give it a like, give it a share. Don't forget to subscribe and comment, and we'll see you on the next video. Thank you.